Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am your humbled host. It's about Children TV back at it for a brand new video. Now today we have four story for you guys. And the first one is Buffalo Looters. And if you have not known, there was a blizzard in western New York, and there was a lot of looters going on. Second story is out of Minnesota. A 19-year-old kid in America. You might have heard about that story. 33 ATL juveniles were shot on the side of ATL, and then the fifth story is Aaron Dean sentenced. He's sentenced to 11 years and 10 months. We're going to talk about that story. Let's get straight into it. Lowest of the low. Buffalo Mayor rebuked looters stealing from stores, businesses during blizzard. The Buffalo Police Commissioner said a few arrests have been made and that more are likely. This happened back on December 26, 2022, which was yesterday. Buffalo Mayor Byron Brown had sharp words for looters Monday who had broken into and stolen items from several stores around the city during the blizzard of 2022. Videos of ransacked stores and businesses with people running out with various items have been shared broadly on TikTok, Facebook, and other social media platforms. The mayor called these people the lowest of the low. People are out looting or are losing their lives in this harsh winter storm. It's just absolutely reprehensible. I don't know how they can live with themselves, said Mayor Brown during a joint press conference with Erie County and state officials, including Governor Kathy Hochul. Buffalo Police Commissioner Joseph Graham McGill, who also spoke at the press conference, said that police are aware of these incidents and working to get a full count of how many there have been. We have a few arrests. We have intervened in some of those. We've assisted with at least one location that I am aware of, and getting a strip order up so our officers are out there, said Commissioner Greg McGlealer. That store is believed to be Rick's Sports Apparel near Allen Street and Elmwood Avenue, according to the tip sheet with two on your side. The store had its own windows broken, got looted, and was boarded up Monday night. The commissioner added that officers are starting to get back to the patrol duties, which includes monitoring, looting, and theft. Since Friday, the focus has been on the snow emergency and saving lives. It is heartbreaking when it's all over the community. We have nowhere to go and to get things they need, said Robert Smallwood, an employee at Camellia Meats. Smallwood had filed on two on your sides, David McKinley, Monday morning, and said that the Family Dollar at Genesee Street and Zenner Street was in the middle of being looted. Several videos show people with bags with items who had just exited the store. Inside the Family Dollar, there was items tossed off of shelves and boxes were thrown everywhere. So Patrick Sachoki, one of the owners of Camellia Meats, told News on Your Side that the Broadway market was also broken into. They have a retail outlet in the market, and he said the cash register was stolen, unfortunately with nothing in it. They're breaking into the rent to own. They're taking TV sets, who blamed the justice system for the bailout during the blizzard. They're not looting food and medicines. They're just looting items that want. So these aren't even people in distress. These are people that would take advantage of a natural disaster, Mayor Brandon Brown said. As the Buffalo Police Department continues to investigate these incidents, tips can be shared using the confidential tip line at 716-847-2255. My commentary on this is this. I actually watched the press conference, and the sad part is, it's people like that who do not belong in your community. These people are from my community, the great city of Buffalo. And the reason I chose to talk about this particular story is because people lost their lives. Children is without items. Yeah, a lot of people dying at home in cars, buried in snow, and like the man said, people people are so ignorant to the point where they will record themselves loitering in their own communities and not think about those who are suffering and have had suffered because of this blizzard. People lost their loved ones. Yet you people are here loitering. Let's think about that for a second. But why? Why are we out here doing such ignorant things to ourselves and to the community? And I'm gonna say this, and it's my closing remark. Whoever is involved in this, everybody who is involved in this looting needs to be behind bars in charge of the felony because looting is theft. It is breaking and entering. It is a felony in most states and cities. So those people who thought it was cool to do that, you just brought yourself a felony. You brought yourself a felony. Trying to be a thug in the streets, trying to take advantage and taking advantage of people and their businesses, stealing cash registers, breaking windows, selling all types of different items. You gotta understand this. Businesses have one thing, and they have security cameras. And security cameras do not lie. You will get caught. It's a matter of time when the FBI is knocking on your door and you're in the prison cell. It's just that easy. That's focus on people should be focused on helping those in need, not taking advantage of the city by breaking and entering, selling items, doing all this unnecessary stuff for views and likes, and then showing it on social media. And this is what's wrong with social media today. Everybody have phones, everybody have tablets. It's easy to record your crime and post it. But soon you get caught, you want to cry, talking about get me out, get me out. No, you broke the law when you lured to the city of Buffalo. I pray and hope, this is my city, that we catch everybody responsible and took part in this looting and hold them accountable. Thank you guys so much for watching. You're on story 2 out of 4. The next story is out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Um, Minneapolis, Minnesota takes it now. And we'll talk about a 19-year-old who was killed in a Mall of America shooting. The 19-year-old who was killed in a shooting at Mall of America on Friday was identified by the Hennepin County Medical Examiner as Jonte Raymond Hudson of St. Paul. Bloomington police said 9 people were fighting in the mall Norris Dame store Friday evening when one person put out a gun and shot Hudson multiple times. A bystander Jackie was grazed by a bullet, but they weren't hurt in the shooting. The suspects then left the store and drove to White Castle for food, police said. Surveillance video helped police track suspects in an address in St. Louis Park, where SWAT teams executed the search warrant and arrested the 5 people about 8:40 a.m. Saturday. 3 of those who were arrested were 17-year-olds. The remaining 2 suspects, Tayshawn Wright and DeAndre DePreto, are 18 years old. Police believe that either Wright or DePreto was the shooter. Police have not identified the 17-year-olds because they are juveniles. All 5 suspects are facing second-degree murder charges. They will likely make their first court appearance today, which is Tuesday. Now, here is the news video, and then we give them a commentary.
Wow, it all happened a busy night at the mall as many people were out buying last-minute gifts. Police officers responded just before 8 last night after gunshots were heard on the first floor of Nordstrom. One man was found with multiple gunshot wounds.
Assuming a big mall like that, busy holiday night, I thought it was a mass shooter. So, in my mind, I'm thinking, let me get to the safest spot in the store. I actually made a barricade in the room that I was in because the door didn't lock.
Preliminary reports say several people were involved in an altercation just before the shooting. Police are working to identify the shooter.
Hello, one more breath.
Tonight, an update to the deadly shooting at the Mall of America. A SWAT team arrested 5 people today for their involvement in the shooting that killed a 19-year-old last night. Multiple agencies executed a search warrant this morning in St. Louis Park, where 2 adults and 3 juveniles were taken into custody. Bloomington police say they are confident the shooter is among that group, an 18-year-old. However, they are not ruling out other shooters were involved.
We are fairly confident that we do have the person who was responsible for murdering the victims in custody. We're also still trying to determine if there was another shooter involved in this, and we're still trying to continue working through that. But one of the shooters we do have in custody.
Hodges says that is the second homicide in the mall's history. The first was a domestic shooting in the 90s. According to police, the shooting, that was a stabbing that happened actually in the 90s, to correct ourselves there. Now, according to police, there was an altercation that started inside the Nordstrom store on the first floor around 7:50 p.m. last night. The victim was shot multiple times and died from his injuries. This is meaning heartbreak over the holidays. Tonight, the family confirmed with Care 11 who the shooting victim was, and his name was John Tim Hudson. His family spoke exclusively with our Devon Logan tonight.
One morning, as many families are finalizing Christmas plans tonight, the family of 19-year-old John J. Hudson is planning a funeral as they try to make sense of this tragic loss. For 22-year-old Judea Hudson, life will never be the same. Without her brother, 19-year-old John J. Hudson.
He was funny, sometimes quiet. Everybody loved him. He was a people person. He started his own place and applied for college.
Dreams cut short for a man who police say was shot and killed at the Mall of America Friday night.
He was supposed to go to the mall to find where to go with his shoes to go to his friend's birthday that night.
Police say Hudson was one of several young men who got caught up in a physical altercation just moments before he was shot multiple times.
At first, I just felt like it was just like a minor bullet or something. I didn't think that nothing too serious about it until they said they started finding pulse. So this is some words about something for the best.
While his connection to the men involved is unknown, his sister says there were friend groups he was trying to avoid.
People need to get out there, yeah. That was it. They got stuff going on, but it's something very small.
And yet, tears flow for another life lost to the streets.
Like I say, y'all heard the street. Street over you. You got stuff around the damn like kids like that.
As calls for change on both sides of the tragedy speak to the sad reality countless families continue to live.
Should not be happening at all. Wrong crowds, a lot of wrong crowds, destruction.
Now, Hudson's sister says she hopes everyone involved in her brother's death is held to the fullest extent of the law. The family has set up a GoFundMe page to assist with funeral expenses. If you'd like to donate, we have a link in this story on our website. Morgan.
Thanks, Steve.
My commentary on it now. Okay. Two reasons why I did this study. Number one, the victim was very young. He was 19. And at the end of the day, he needs justice. Number two, I did it is because I feel for the victim's family. And again, why is it that people can go, to the mall to do last minute Christmas shopping? This happened on the 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, to get last minute shopping things. Yeah, you have two different groups of people go to the mall, get into it, shoot at each other, and innocent bystanders shot and killed. And guys who are suffering from that, the victim's family. And then to top it off, to make things worse, the suspects, after this deadly shooting, goes to a White Castle, to a restaurant, and enjoy a meal where someone is dead in a mall because of your ignorance. Just anybody could have been shot and killed that day. Okay? Anybody could have been shot, killed, shot and injured, wounded because of what? And a beef. Why people can't handle your beef in a personal setting? Why bring your bullcrap to the mall? Again, people look for attention seeking, to get a bigger reaction. So they go to the mall, get into a scuffle, and then shots fired. And when shots fired, people can lose their lives. To the victim's family, um, I stand with you, and you do deserve justice. Number two, I would suggest to get an attorney and have your attorney not only sought legal action against these people with a lawsuit against these suspects, but also to take legal action against these gun manufacturer, because whoever gave these people a gun, and I'm pretty sure the juveniles who were 17, they might be permitted to carry a gun. So now you're illegally carrying a gun, and I know for sure these 18-year-olds should have been with a gun in their hands. And in the city of Buffalo, I know that now it's illegal to carry a gun unless you're 21 with a permit. Now, this is the thing. We gotta do better. We should be able to feel safe in a closed environment. We should be able to go to the mall without being shot and killed, shot or injured because of street beef. Okay? We should be able to protect ourselves when we're in the mall. We should be able to walk through the mall, shop, hang with our friends, have lunch, do all that without being shot at. Okay? Without being shot at. We gotta, hold these five people accountable. And the thing that sickened me, keyword, sickened me, they're charged with second degree murder. This should have been a first degree murder case. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because this happened in a mall. This isn't the first time somebody been killed in a mall of America. But I'm saying this should have been a first degree murder conviction, a first degree murder offense. Especially because they went to Red Castle afterwards. And that was disrespectful to go to have lunch after y'all got done from killing an innocent person. So you gonna have lunch? What type of heart do you have? The mentality, the dignity. I mean, come on. And to the parents, this is why it's the point of monitoring your children. Your children hang around these no good people, and then when your children go in prison at an early age, before the age of 18. But if you take control of your children before they get to the age of 18, you wouldn't have to go to prison to see your children. You see what I'm saying? A lot of parents are trying to be friends with their children. You can't be friends with your children because eventually they're going to turn on you. Think about that. And to the victim's mother and father, I hope that you're part of your children for what they did. And I hope that one day you could ask yourself why I wasn't a better parent to my children. While my children are doing the things that they're doing and involving themselves in criminal activity and criminal behavior. Because you're going to answer for what your children did and why it was 17-year-olds hanging around an 18-year-old. An 18-year-old should know better and not to be involving themselves with 17-year-old in criminal behavior. These ain't your true friends if your friends are leading you to a destruction of gang. I feel like this was a revenge shooting, which means is that one group must have shot at the other group before this prior incident, and then the other group shot back, and you know, tragedy happened. But we gotta take responsibility. We should be able to shop in a mall. We should be able to be safe in the mall. We shouldn't be able to be scared to be in a mall. They need to upgrade security at these malls. They need to do something before something worse happen. Before a massive casualty happen. We gotta do better, Minnesota. Minnesota, y'all gotta do better. And policing needs to be 10 times harder. And to crack down on these people out here who run these streets with these large group of people. Start locking people up. I don't know what to tell you, Minnesota. But it looks like y'all waited too late to intervene. That should have been intervened. We gotta do better. Like, comment, subscribe. Um, our next story is not gonna have a news video. I'm gonna talk about it. Matter of fact, our next two stories are not going to have a news video, but I'm going to talk about them really, really quick. Give me just 1 second. This happened 13 hours ago. Three teens are shot outside of a bakery on Northside Drive. This happened in southwest Atlanta, so let's talk about it. 15 hours ago. Atlanta police said three people were shot Monday night at 165 Northside Drive, Southwest. Officers arrived at the scene and found two boys suffering from gunshot wounds, and the third was appeared to be a possible graze wound. All victims were taken to local hospitals. According to police, all victims were alert, conscious, and breathing. The one victim is in serious condition. Their ages were not released. All I'm gonna say about this is that whoever's responsible for this shooting, you know, I hope that they're caught, brought to justice to go out and just shoot randomly at three teens. Something has to be mentally wrong with you, and you should be able to shoot again. And to do it outside of it, to do it period, but to like literally outside of a bakery. I mean, like, what possessed you to even do something like that? And we gotta do better, people. We gotta do better. We gotta start thinking twice because our actions have consequences, and whoever responsible for this is definitely going to prison for some time for this. This is this is 3 counts of attempted murder. Okay, 3 counts and aggravated assault. So I'm just saying, whoever's responsible, I urge you to turn yourself in. Thank you guys so much about this particular story. We're on the last story. This story um, is crazy to me. Um, I didn't watch the whole trial, but I caught part of it, and then I didn't watch the sentencing, but I kind of caught it after the fact. So let's talk about it for a second. 7 days ago. Okay, so it says, um, and this is out of Texas. Former police, I'm on ABC News, got this article from former police officer Aaron Dean is sentenced to over 11 years after being convicted of killing a Tatiana Jefferson. This is the cop here. And it says a jury has sentenced former police officer Aaron Dean to over 11 years in prison after he was found guilty of manslaughter in the 2019 shooting death of Tatiana Jefferson. His official sentence was announced as 11 years, 10 months, and 12 days in prison. He is not eligible for probation since the sentence was more than 10 years. Dean did not show any emotion at, at hearing his sentence. My sister did not do anything wrong. She was in her home. Jefferson's sister, Ashley Carr, said in a victim's impact statement after the sentencing. She was murdered. I, I pity your ignorance. Carr added later, "You not know enough to be ashamed. You're not self aware enough to understand your responsibility for this evil act." Dean was led out of the courtroom by the sheriff after Carr's victim impact statement. Jefferson, a 28-year-old black woman, was fatally shot by Dean, a white police officer, in her Fort Worth, Texas home on October 12, 2019. Dean and another officer responded to a non-emergency call to check on Jefferson's home around 2:30 a.m. because the door was left open to the house. Jefferson heard Dean outside the home and suspected he was a burglar. Since he never announced himself as an officer, she retrieved her gun and approached the window when Dean opened fire on Jefferson through the glass, striking and killing her in front of her 8-year-old nephew with whom he had been playing video games. Dean lawyers argued during the trial that he was confronted by deadly force when he saw Jefferson with a gun and was within his right to respond with deadly force. However, Dean admitted on the stand that his actions constituted bad police work. The prosecution and defense rested their cases on the sentencing phase Friday and delivered closing statements early Monday. The same jury decided to convict Dean on Thursday for manslaughter as opposite to a harsher murder charge. There were roughly 13 hours of deliberations. Manslaughter is a second-degree felony. According to the Texas Penal Code, it was punishable by 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. He did not have to pay a fine. Lawyer Lisa Pimlin, a friend of Tatiana Jefferson, Family who had attended each day of the trial said she was grateful for the sentence, though she said 20 years would have been justice. Okay, the reason I chose to do this story is because I feel like this. Number one, a child witnessed his aunt being gunned down. Secondly, he should have been sentenced on a murder charge. A manslaughter charge is not enough. To get only 11 and a half years plus 10 months and a couple days, it's what is that? These people, the victim family, can never see their loved one again. So he should have been convicted on first degree murder charges or second degree murder charges. And he should have been doing the next 20 to 30 years in prison, if not life. This is what's wrong with the justice system. This officer is white. And believe it or not, okay, white police officers do not get time when they kill someone. They give them a slap on the wrist and tell them do not do it again. I'm sorry. That officer, if I was a judge, in my opinion, for the manslaughter, would have got 17 to 48 and a half years in prison because he knew what he did was wrong. He did not knock on a door. He did not presented himself as a police officer. And then when he did not get a response, he chose to use deadly force. And I think he knew there was a child inside the residence. So these officers, what they were trying to do is try to make people think that they're not crazy. So they try to go to the court and ask for a lighter sentence. The attorneys do. At the end of the day, his attorney should be sad of himself for asking for that amount of time when an innocent woman was killed. And I believe that a harsher punishment would have been justified and justifiable. And to give this man only 11 years for his deadly actions, he should have got max and did some hard time. And this is why it's important to not just held courts responsible, police officers responsible, but the DA, the juries responsible. And if I was the family, I would do a lawsuit after hearing that sentence against that officer for over $1 million. Because at the end of the day, they're gonna need so much support and they're gonna need so much counsel. And they're gonna need so much to build their life up again. It is hard losing a loved one. It is not easy to lose a loved one. It's traumatized, and traumatizing for those who witness their loved ones being murdered. And so at the end of the day, the courts failed this family. And speaking of failing this family, there was a case where another officer killed, I think it was a young man, and he only got 3 years, I think, 3 to 6 years, I think, or 6 years in prison. Why are we giving officers who are doing horrible jobs light sentences? Light. When you have people going to prison who are not police officers, by the way, doing life sentences for killing police officers. You have people on death row for killing police officers. So if a police officer kill a civilian, it's fine and dandy, and they get 11 years and go on with their life. That's not right at all. And I just hope that the family can move on and throw out a lawsuit and sue the state I would sue everybody involved with this whole entire game case. I would sue the courts. I would sue his lawyer. I would sue Dean himself. I would sue the police department. I would sue everybody responsible for this because there was no basic training here. And then the sentence was just not even a sentence, it was bogus. He needs to get retried, a new trial, throw that 11-year sentence out, and find him guilty of murder and give him a life imprisonment. Thank you guys so much for watching my stories. I will see you guys tomorrow for crime time. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for crime time. Have a great, great, great day. And always remember to hug your loved ones. Because you'll never know. You'll never know what someone is going through. Thank you guys so much for watching.